Hello and welcome back to The Watch. I am Tyrant and today I am joined by Marcus. And we are going to be talking about something that Marcus is very passionate about and that I'm somewhat of an expert in, I guess.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about Halo. Not that one. The bad one. I'm sorry. Don't run away. And audience, don't run away either. I'm going to praise it.
I am very interested to see what you've got for me. So let's get into it. Tell me the gripes and what has prompted this video of yours?
Well, just to be clear, I think the show is bad, okay? It is awful. But there is something I want to praise.
Just to be clear, I love the games. You love the games?
Oh, of course. I've read the Bungie book specifically.
So we are fans
Yes.
of this series. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like we should just preface it with that.
Yeah. The show's okay.
The
All
show
right.
is okay.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah, I think you should
But
say that then.
there is something about the show that was rather interesting, and that is the props,
Right.
the special effects, and a lot of it was actually surprisingly well done.
Right.
Okay, so we're getting a lot of behind-the-scenes footage of the making of this TV series.
Yeah.
And I was amazed.
Yeah.
Because I have a little video to show you.
Right. Let's have a look at this.
And
So, for anybody who's curious, I'm a prop maker. I have made proper props. So, I was very surprised to hear that Marcus was so
impressed.
impressed by the props of this show. So,
Yeah.
he's going to be showing me a couple
Now-
here.
You play the games, you know what the prophets are, right?
Yes, yes.
Leaders of the Covenant and all that.
Yeah.
When I saw this show, I thought that they were CGI.
You would assume so. It's very rare to get puppets these
But-
days.
We're going to put the video here. Look at this. Look. They're puppets. I was blown away by this because it's like, hang on. What else did they do then?
Yeah.
Because this is an insane amount of work, and the prophets don't appear for very long on this show.
Yeah.
I think it's about maybe all up 15 minutes.
Because as of late, a lot of shows like with Star Wars and the Volume, a lot of things have become CGI, green screen.
Yep.
And going back to more of this pure form of prop making is actually fairly impressive.
Yeah.
And if it was so good that you couldn't even tell that it wasn't real or CGI, that's actually really impressive.
Yeah, it's incredible that they did this. And they didn't have to do it. They easily could have just made it all CGI like they did with the Elites or even the Brutes. But I got to admit, even they look the part.
Yeah.
You could believe that they came straight out of the game.
Most likely that the actual prophets themselves will be silicon puppets, and then you have things like clothes design. So the clothes would be tailor-made for the puppets. Then you have things like the chairs, which are a whole prop in and of themselves, which is furniture making. Then they're controlled by wires and stuff. So then you need someone to rig them up so that they can actually move in a realistic way. So we're talking teams of people.
Yep.
It's not just like there's two guys out there making these things. It's
Lots, and that's the thing. Lots of people.
and that's just for these things. We're
Yep.
just for the profits. That's not anything else.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah, but there's more. So this is Reach in the show.
Yeah.
Now we're going a little more into CGI now, but that's the thing. I feel like I was in a bit of a weird state of mind watching the show because I wasn't able to notice any of these visuals, which we'll get into that later as to why I'm bringing all this up. But seriously, look at that.
Yeah.
It looks like Reach. It looks like something you would see from the games.
It's good. It's very good.
Yeah, and it's surprising every time. But
Is it surprising because of how garbage the show was?
yeah, like
So-
all this work was put on a show that is just abysmal. It's so bad. It's kind of laughable bad, actually.
Let's just take a little bit of a tangent, just because I want to hear your thoughts really quickly. What were the main points you didn't like about Halo?
Master Chief. They obliterated Master Chief. Oh,
Right, okay.
wow.
So Master Chief. What else?
The Covenant. They lost their menace, that's for sure.
So I feel like those are two really, really core important things that you would want in a Halo TV show.
Yep.
Yeah. So I guess that's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean,
what else did they do?
so this is a visual from the show.
Yeah,
This
and
looks pretty good. Like
Yeah.
this looks like if I saw this in a cutscene of the game, I'd be like, damn, they're really stepping up their game here.
yeah, exactly.
Unintended.
I know, it's weird. And you look at a lot of these designs, and that's an actual warthog.
That is fantastic, actually. No, like that's great.
I
like,
know.
because
What is happening?
usually you don't want physical props. Like physical
No.
props, first of all, you have to make them, then you have to maintain them, then they can break, and then on camera they may not even look that good. So like physical, there's a reason why most movie studios want to go away from it. It's just easier in general to go to more CGI stuff. So actually making like full-on large props in this way is it's actually really impressive.
Yeah, and they've done this a few times.
And so this was released by Paramount.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can get all this.
They've done the Warthog. That's real.
Yep.
They did the Prophets. That's real.
Yep.
And what else? This is really...
that armor.
That's pretty cool. Okay. All right. Is that real, though? Are you sure?
Do you want to see? Here's the thing.
I do want to see.
The armor is really impressive because it looks super heavy, as it should. Because I feel like in the games,
but it's more about the problem with armor, not just in a movie context, but in a real like proper setting, is that movement. It's sometimes to get things look movie accurate. Yeah, you don't have a lot of mobility. When you walk, things look weird. So usually they just do CGI for it.
Well, ready to. In fact, this video right here, it shows that they had a lot of dedication in lots of the outfits.
Yeah.
They paid very close attention to detail in trying to make every world distinct. Wow. So this was like on a planet called the Rubble, and the video will be down here. And they're just basically talking about how they wanted to give it all of this unique flavor to every place that you go to. They wanted to try and be lore accurate where they could, and they just...
They want to be lore accurate. Who wants to be lore accurate? That's the insane
thing. In these videos, these people say, "Yeah, we want to be actual lore accurate."
Well, the thing is, you can actually get that when they're doing like everything I've seen so far of the props. They look, pretty good.
But we want to talk about Chief's armor, don't we?
Yes.
Well, there's his helmet.
But I mean, it's hard to judge that because like you can buy replicas and stuff like that.
There's the outfit.
Okay, that looks pretty good. But again, what I'm seeing here is like, I don't know how much mobility you would have. So maybe like for a static shot, but I don't know about that walking.
You want to see? Okay. And there he is suiting up, and he's moving.
Okay, so that's very good movement. That is probably the limits of what you can do. But it's very good. It is very good. And it probably would be enough to shoot in for sure. But I have no doubt that there are scenes where it's just going to be CGI suit. But for the most part, that's pretty good. It looks pretty good as well.
Yeah, I mean, do you see? I'm trying to paint a picture here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that these departments did.
Well, even this shot.
That it's like, yes, that's what I would want from a Halo TV show. Well, that's exactly it.
The thing here is like this shot we're looking at right now is a beautiful shot. Like for example, the lighting on this, and then you've got the the Warthog in the back, and you said that's real.
Yeah.
So then I'm thinking, well, how much of this background is CGI? The lighting looks good. The composition of the shot looks fantastic. Like, if that's all like realistic props, that's pretty good.
Yeah, this is the one thing I really wanted to highlight.
Yeah.
Because all this, I can't see a problem with it. It's not changed. It's not overly designed. It's not anything. It's taken from the games and it's put into the show.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll just show you a couple of the things. Here's an energy sword.
That's fantastic. That looks great.
Like, wow.
And of course, it's proportional size to an elite. Like
exactly. But they made a physical one so the Spartans can pick them up and use them.
Yeah.
Which, of course, we want that.
There was one scene that I saw with would it be Master Chief fighting like a brute, and it was fantastic fight scene.
Looks good.
And I was blown away by how good that fight scene looked, and I was surprised that it actually came from this TV show.
Yeah, here's a elite weapon right here.
It looks good.
Again, I mean...
Yeah, looks fantastic.
You make props. What do you...
In terms of prop making, there's nothing too complex. It's more just, like something that you can make a bunch of to have extras on set.
But it's pretty solid.
It's very good. For this one, it's more like down to the paint job more than anything else. But yeah, it's good.
Hearing them talk about it really just... it kind of makes me more frustrated. Because they really cared.
Well, because these are people aren't writers. And they're not. These are prop makers. And prop makers are usually... They're making things that they themselves really love. And they find cool. I mean, that's why I do it. But like... So usually you'll find prop makers who are really into what they're doing. It's usually where the problems start is...
from the top. And that's the issue. this is all a surprise to me because I wasn't paying attention to it because I couldn't.
Because you were too worried about the other stuff.
The other stuff was getting in the way.
Right,
the writing was so distracting and awful that I couldn't really appreciate all of this hard work.
Right.
And
I feel like there was a lot of really, really big fundamental changes to a lot of things right from the get-go, which made it hard just for anything else to enjoy or view anything else.
Yeah.
Because you were just thinking about what they were doing.
Exactly. It's a real shame because, I mean, what have you heard from the TV show other than what I've said? Like, what's the general view of it? Pretty negative, right?
Well, yeah, especially because of the depiction of Master Chief.
Yeah.
Like, especially when he took his helmet off. It was like the first or second episode.
Yeah,
like
that
that is like, you're breaking some stuff there that you can't fix once you've done it. Like, like you don't do that on the second episode. Like, you shouldn't do that at all.
No,
you know what I mean? This isn't like The Mandalorian where it's like, oh, some big emotional reveal. This is Master Chief.
Yeah, this is an icon. You can't just...
You do creative cuts, little jokes where he takes his helmet off, but you can't sit. You do that sort of stuff. You don't cold turkey that shit,
Yeah, exactly. You don't. But they did, and that's the thing. The writers went pretty much against everything that these prop designers and these people work so hard on.
Yeah.
They didn't care about trying to even capture the heart and soul of Halo.
But you got to remember, that's a very common thing for a lot of franchises. Because especially for these big franchises, the prop makers, the set designers, the costume designers, they love this stuff and they love creating this world for us to really enjoy. However, it's usually the writers or, directors who go, no, I can do better, so...
Yeah, and I think that's the most tragic part of all this.
So you are saying that they did in fact not do better than the originals for Halo?
No, the originals are great. I feel bad for these people, to be honest with you. Because all that hard work is not going to be appreciated because it's always going to be tied to that show was terrible.
Yeah.
Because some of this reminds me of some of the work and mentality that Weta put in for the original Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
The issue with that is we can appreciate what they did because we have those movies that were so well written and all of that as well.
Well, it's a little bit different in the terms of something like Lord of the Rings because Lord of the Rings was, it was in the book medium, so they were designing a lot of stuff. Like when you think of what is it, Anduril? You think of the Lord of the Rings version rather than any sort of book interpretation.
Yeah.
With Halo, they already have a solid foundation to lead on, so they can just take what's in those games and bring them to life.
They can, and they did.
Yeah.
I gotta give it to them.
I agree with you. I think that they did. They look absolutely fantastic.
All right, like far be it from me. There are a couple of discrepancies.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, you're just like, I like this.
There's a few things, like there's an uncolored weapon that shows up in the show.
Yeah.
There's a couple of wonky CGI moments here and there, but
I mean...
if we're talking purely from design, well done.
Yeah, like from a prop perspective, they're pretty good. It's just everything else around it that's terrible.
It's just such a shame. Because these showrunners and these writers, directors and all that, I feel like they have a duty to do as good of a job, if not better, than their prop designers and all of them. So that way they can...
I agree. I do think that they do have a duty to do better. However, it's kind of one of those things where it's a bit nebulous, like, because, there's people who like the new stuff over the original stuff. And so when it comes to like prop designing, you can just go, yep, that looks fantastic. Like we're doing, you can go, yep, that looks good. You nailed it. So
I think the bummer is that even if this show was mediocre, it would have been better. Even if it was just average, or even if they just copy and pasted things from the game, it still would have been better.
There is some solid stuff here. It's just the overall stuff.
Yeah, it's everything else.
Yeah.
Everyone else cared about this story and bringing it to life, but the writers, and that's the saddest thing. So I actually have a little bit of a message to send to these people.
Oh, another message. I'm listening intently. Go for it. Straight to camera.
You people that have the power to make all of this work actually be recognized and worth a damn. If you put in minimal effort, if you don't care to work your guts out as these people do and get it right or as close to being good as you can, rather than not trying at all, then their work's worth nothing. That's what you do because it's so distracting. I couldn't take it. I couldn't appreciate these prophets because I was just focusing. They're talking to a human. They should have killed that human right in front of them. And that's the biggest... Yes, they did that, by the way. They had the prophets talk to a human and actually take orders from a human. I know, the one thing that they shouldn't do.
You're doing so good. Keep going.
But that's your job, okay? Look, if you can't make... If you don't want to put the work in or the writing is too hard or that for us fans, fine. At least do it for these people so that way they can turn around to like their families and friends and say, yeah, I worked on that show. Look at that prop. I did that. And the show, it's actually not that bad. Go check it out. Go watch it so you can see my stuff.
Preach.
But no, you can't now because the show is terrible and it's a boring mess.
You tell them.
And unfortunately, the writers also chose to attack the fans. And here's a little bit of a hard pill they might need to swallow. Some of those Halo fans that may hate your show might have been working on your props. Let that one sink in.
Scathing.
Anyway, that's all I got to say on the props. It's still good work, and honestly, all these prop departments, all these special effects teams, you guys are the only reason Hollywood's able to get away with some of the bad writing that they get away with. Seriously, if I was wearing a hat, I'd tip it to you. So that's all, and as always, stay on watch.